All this wet weather on top of major snowfall will affect the flood outlook this spring.
Jennifer Hoff is here now with a look at what we can expect. Jennifer?
Lauren, the National Weather Service says that there are three main things to alleviate any flooding snowpack. That's the snowpack itself, or flooding rather, I should say. So that's the snowpack. You've got soil moisture and then also the frost depth. But the experts are watching what could be actually some, heavy snow by the end of the month that could only up that threat level.
It may be Valentine's Day, but at the National Weather Service in Chanhassen,
we have additional amounts, quarter inch to half inch.
the meteorologists are seeing more green than red.
And we have the advisory for the freeze potential.
But all this rain
This right here is a map of the snow water equivalents.
isn't what hydrologist Craig Schmidt says will lead to flooding this spring.
I would assume the flood risk would be high just because we've had record amounts of snow. End of story. But that's not the case.
No, there's so many factors to think about.
The first is in fact snowpack, but while there's an abnormally high amount of water in it, Schmidt says last year's drought is actually helping.
So there's a lot of room in the soil to soak up a lot of this melt.
Soil moisture is also the second factor, and since it's so dry, there's plenty of storage places. Third, rivers and lakes are really low too, and the ground isn't even all that frozen.
We had a very early snowpack, and that kind of acted as a blanket over the soil, so we did not get a really deep frost this year.
Meaning once the melt starts, all that water will run into the soil rather than off it. All of it making this year's initial outlook that Schmidt recently released not quite complete.
So a lot of it will end up depending on, do we keep adding more snow through the end of the winter, and then what kind of melt do we get?
Schmidt may call tonight's rain unusual.
Good old soaking.
The green blob making its way out by morning.
Looks more like a March than a February.
But like a true Minnesota winter, it's the white stuff that isn't over with yet.
Starting to hint that we might be getting into a more active winter weather pattern again toward the end of February, so we might be adding some more snow into the...
But you're being very cautious of that.
I'm being very cautious about that.
Very cautious indeed. Schmidt wouldn't say exactly how much or exactly when we might get any of that snow, but they certainly are keeping an eye on it. That could very much change that flood outlook, right? Schmidt releasing 2 more updated versions every other week through March. Randy?
All right, Jennifer, thank you.